In last class, I have done quick revision on neuron, discussion on nervous system with central and peripheral nervous system, detailed discussion on human brain. In this class, you will get a fast repeat on previous class, discussion on spinal cord and reflex arc, discussion on peripheral nervous system. Hello class, hopefully all of you are fine. So today I am going to start regarding especially the peripheral nervous system. And before that, I will go through a fast repeat already told. So, this is what? Neuron, the unit of the nervous system made up of cell body or soma, nucleus, small processes, dendron or dendrites, long process, axon, the terminal axon terminals or axon terminal knobs with the synapses, that synaptic vesicle, not synapses, synaptic vesicles, myelin sheath, the covering, right? This is nodes of Ranvier, the gaps between the myelin sheath, and this is the Schwann cell. So this is neuron, the unit of nervous system. So what is nervous system? Made up of nerve tissue which receives the stimuli, okay, and which helps us to adjust with the environment. It is made up of central nervous system, in brief CNS, made up of brain and spinal cord, written in red colored letters. Peripheral nervous system, made up of somatic, cranial, connection with the brain part, spinal nerves, connection with the spinal cord, and autonomic nervous system, means the sympathetic, parasympathetic nervous system. So, this is brain, where the convolutions you can see, name is Zaire or Salsi. More Zaire Salsi, more groups, more folds means more intelligence. 4 views of human brain. So, I will discuss the brain structure with a chart. 4 brain divided into 4 brain, that human brain divided into 4 brain or prosencephalon. Second, midbrain or mesencephalon. Third, hindbrain or rhombencephalon. Forebrain is having 2 parts. Telencephalon means the cerebrum, and also the rhyencephalon part is there, means your olfactory receptor. Diencephalon, also a part of forebrain, made up of thalamus, hypothalamus. What are these things? We have already read in the last video class. Here I will repeat a bit. Now midbrain or mesencephalon, made up of superior and inferior colliculi, together called the, means in tectum region, the corpora quadrigemina. It is responsible for your vision and hearing. Hindbrain, divided into pons, cerebellum, medulla oblongata. Pons, 4 cranial nerves, 4 pairs of cranial nerves moves through this part. Cerebellum controls body balance. Medulla oblongata, respiration, reflex action. These important involuntary action centers are present here. So this is the chart in brief. Okay, hopefully you understood the terms. Now I am discussing this with the help of a diagram. This is the brain with 4 lobes of the cerebrum, means each part in the cerebral hemisphere, it makes 4 lobes, right? What is the brain? Human brain is well protected by the skull. This skull is covered by the cranial meninges. Within this we are getting this kind of lobular structure. So here in the cerebrum part we are getting 4 lobes. Frontal lobe controls voluntary muscle movement, motor center present here. Parietal lobe, sensory center present, sensation of skin, regulate thought, emotion present here. And also your concentration power depends upon this part, how much attentive you are, or your counting ability with the help of parietal lobe. Temporal lobe regulates hearing as auditory center present here. Now occipital lobe responsible for visual information. So these are the 4 lobes. Okay. Now these are the main parts. Already I discussed the main terms. Now these main parts. Once more. Cerebrum made up of 2 cerebral hemispheres. Okay. Connected with corpus callosum. It is a part of the forebrain. Name is telencephalon. Hypothalamus. Thalamus is the relay center. Okay. Hypothalamus, it controls your endocrine function. So many important sensations like the thirst, this pain sensation, these receptors are here in hypothalamus. Thalamus, hypothalamus with other 2 epithalamus, metathalamus, known as the diencephalon. So cerebrum, cerebral hemisphere, corpus callosum is equal to the telencephalon, and hypothalamus, thalamus, this part means the diencephalon. So telencephalon plus diencephalon forms forebrain, the largest part of the brain. The smallest part of the brain, midbrain. Here presence of the superior inferior colliculi, which controls your optic and visual, means visual and the auditory sensation, together known as the corpora quadrigemina. Cerebellum, the controlling center of your body. Pons, 4 pairs of cranial nerves moves through this 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th. And medulla, the brainstem before that part, connection with the spinal cord, all together forms hindbrain. Cerebellum is connected with 2 lateral hemisphere, name is vermis. Now what you have to do? Go through all the terms given in this diagram. Not, I have discussed many terms, okay, not needed all the terms. Maybe for 10%, 20% students need that. It's up to you. But you must go through these terms written here. Write those names in your classwork copy with at least 1 function of each. And before that, once more, this. Copy this chart. Human brain divided into 4 brain or prosencephalon. Prosencephalon is made up of telencephalon, cerebrum, rhyencephalon. Cerebrum is made up of cerebral hemisphere connected with corpus callosum. Here the frontal, parietal, occipital, temporal lobes are present. Rhyencephalon is your olfactory sensation, means smell. Diencephalon, thalamus, relay center, hypothalamus, your endocrine function, hormone function regulation, by this part. So telen and diencephalon forms prosencephalon. Midbrain, mesencephalon, smallest part, the ventricle present here, where CSF, cerebrospinal fluid, is present, superior and inferior colliculi. Your optic and visual center related sensation controlled by this part. Never forget. Hindbrain, pons or pons varioli, controls the cranial nerves, 4 cranial nerves related things. Cerebellum controls the balance, and medulla oblongata controls some involuntary function like respiration center, heartbeat center present here. So these are the things related to your brain. Your duty to follow this chart and draw and practice the human brain structure as in this video class or as in your NCERT book. You will do this too in your class work copy positively. Then only go to the next part. Okay, so next part. Let's focus in the structure of peripheral nervous system. Once you have completed the previous work, then only enter into this part. Okay, so I hopefully think you have already done the previous work. Now let's focus to the peripheral nervous system. The peripheral nervous system is made up of nervous system. That part here from we know this chart, the peripheral and the central. Central nervous system is made up of brain and the spinal cord. Already we have gathered information on brain. Now peripheral nervous system is divided into autonomic and the somatic nervous system. Autonomic means your sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system, right? And somatic nervous system means body related. There are 12 pairs of cranial nerves, 31 pairs of spinal nerves. In the brain division of fore, mid, hindbrain, I have already discussed and also discussed this part. Today my focus is here, peripheral nervous system, autonomic and somatic nervous system. So focus here, just learn peripheral divided into autonomic and somatic. Autonomic is not under our control. Autonomic divided into sympathetic and parasympathetic. What's that? I will discuss. And somatic means cranial and spinal nerves. So now peripheral nervous system, here 2 types of nerves are present. In the green box you can see sensory nerves. Other name is afferent nerves. It will take the sensation to the brain center or to the spinal cord. Therefrom it will carry the what to do that information with the help of the motor nerves, means the effector nerves. These are divided into the somatic, means cranial and the spinal nerves, and autonomic means the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nerves. So somatic nervous system, it's a PNS, peripheral nervous system division, that controls voluntary responses. It's responsible for relaying sensory and motor information between the outside environment and the central nervous system. It innervates outer section of the body, skin and the skeletal muscle. But how? With the help of cranial nerves 12 pairs, spinal nerves 31 pairs. Autonomic nervous system perform opposite function to maintain internal balance. Divided into sympathetic, means your fight or flight response, and causes general alertness and excitement. That's sympathetic. Parasympathetic, rest and digest, restores the body to a calm, restful state. So many nerves are associated here. So let's focus in the structure of spinal cord and its reflex arc first. So what is the spinal cord? Spinal cord is a hollow nerve cord. You can see the structure located within the vertebral canal. Like brain, spinal cord also has meninges, 3 coverings. But unlike brain, it has white matter on the outer side, grey matter in the inner side. It has 31 segments, and these 31 pairs of nerves are originating or emerging from this part. Within it, if we section, that in section given here, the spinal cord structure, you can see a arc, a pathway. That's the reflex arc. So now we got a new term, that's reflex arc and reflex action. So what is that? Without conscious effort or thought, sometimes we require to do some action that is controlled by a part of the central nervous system called reflex arc. The reflex pathway comprises at least one afferent neuron and one efferent neuron, appropriately arranged in a series. The afferent neuron receives signal from a sensory organ and transmits the impulse via dorsal nerve root into the CNS. The efferent neuron then carries signal from CNS to the effector. What I told, that I will discuss with the help of a video. Again I am saying, you can take help of any of the videos available. Here I will take help of a video. So the main points. The nerve pathway involved in reflex action, including at its simplest a sensory nerve and a motor nerve with a synapse between. Reflex action is an involuntary and nearly instantaneous movement in response to a stimulus. A reflex is made possible by neural pathways called reflex arc, which can act on an impulse before that impulse reaches to the brain. So it's a neural pathway controlled by the CNS, especially the spinal cord, where the grey matter and white matter just opposite orientation, grey matter at the center, white matter at the periphery, and there will be the presence of the relay neuron which will connect the afferent neuronal pathway with the motor efferent neuronal pathway. And in vertebrates, most sensory neurons do not pass directly into the brain but synapse in the spinal cord. This allows a faster reflex action to occur by activating spinal motor neuron without the delay of routing signals through the brain. Brain accounts the function, but before that the particular action is done with the help of spinal cord reflex arc. So let's go to a video. Okay, let's see. So here you can see, whenever we need to take some certain decision, for example here a hot container with some hot milk, or so what we'll do, we'll just throw the pot. So this sensation goes through the afferent pathway. Okay, it reaches to your spinal cord, there the dorsal nerve root. Here you can see the grey matter within that inside part. There will be the relay neuron which will relay it, and through the efferent pathway it is coming again to that effector part. Okay, so and you are taking the decision instantly that I will not hold it anymore. So that is done by this first pathway, reflex arc, and the action is the reflex action. Now I will show you a diagram which you need to practice. So this is the diagram you need to practice. In purple color you can see stimulus, a pin given. So what is your decision? If a pin I give to your means to the fingers, of course you will just move your hand. So that receptor in the skin, sensory neuron is bringing that, then dorsal root ganglia will process it to the relay neuron, then again to the ventral root pathway, then motor neuron will carry to this red part, the effector muscle, and you are taking the decision what to do. So your brain is not there to take the decision. Of course a message is sent to the brain, but decision taken by your reflex arc pathway of the spinal cord. So in this video your work is just copy this pathway with all the parts labeled here. Okay, so this is the combined pathway, brain and spinal cord. So a sensor in the left side. In the sensory input given with the help of the afferent neuron, who is working there? It's the jot down part, very important, focus. In the beginning, a diagram of neuron given, that's the starting of the story. Then sensory input comes, afferent neuron will take it to the brain and spinal cord. That's a part of, in purple color, you can see central nervous system, where from the efferent neuron will carry, and all this autonomic nervous system, somatic nervous system are the part of this peripheral nervous system. So autonomic nervous system is made up of sympathetic and parasympathetic, and the enteric means the digestive part, and the somatic nervous system is made up of the cranial nerves 12 pairs and the spinal nerves 31 pairs. So hopefully now your vision is cleared. So now what you need to do, go through your NCERT text, and now you understood how does this nervous tissue cause this action. Your well protected brain, it actually work with the help of the peripheral nervous system. So this each and every neuron will release the neurotransmitter, and this chemical stimuli changes to those electrical impulses. Ultimately your brain, spinal cord with the peripheral nervous system takes the decision. Okay, and there lies the chemistry of the cellular components. Muscle cells have special proteins that change both their shape and the arrangement in the cell in response to the nervous electrical impulses. In this way your nervous tissue causes the action. So today I discussed up to the part 7.1 in this chapter, nervous system control and coordination. Go through this NCERT text, specially follow those terms in NCERT textbook. With this, the charts or the diagram I told, follow those. I am not saying all the terms you need to memorize. Okay, remember it. So again and again I am saying follow the NCERT textbook with only those charts I already told. Write those names specially. And this 100% this material totally needed for who want extra. Hopefully you understood. Fine. So now these are the reference, and I am ending this class with a question showing that how the coordination plans done. They are not having a nervous system, no axon, no dendron, no neuron, no this kind of the peripheral or the central nervous system. So how they perform? So our next topic will be on coordination in plants in your book, NCERT book 7.2. From that topic, coordination in plants. Okay. So till then, bye and thank you. Really thank you. Go through all these chapters, all this text. Okay. Bye, and we will meet in the next video class. Till then, bye.